A very good morning to class 7th. Here is Kaushalya Rajpurohit, your social science teacher, and today we are going to discuss chapter 4 landforms. We have already discussed it in our last video. So landforms on Earth's surface are formed by various endogenic forces, and exogenic forces tend to reduce the elevation of the existing landforms. Okay, now today in this video we are going to see the work of sea, work of moving ice, and work of winds in creating different landforms. So let us start with work of sea. Seawater performs erosional and depositional work through the sea waves. The work of sea waves is known as marine erosion or marine deposition. The work of sea wave is confined to a narrow belt along the coast. The erosional and depositional work of sea waves give rise to the coastal landforms. Strong sea waves dash against the coast and dissolve or break down the rock into fragments. Many large and small cracks develop on the rocky surface, and due to course of time, these cracks become wide and form large cavities, as you can see in this figure, right? So strong sea waves dash against the coast and dissolve and break down the rocks into fragments, and many large and small cracks develop on the rocky surface. With continuous action of sea waves, they develop in large cavities and then into sea caves, right? So this is how sea cave are formed, right? This is due to the continuous dashing of strong waves against the coast, right? And due to the fragmentation of the rocks. Okay, so first there are large cavities and then they are enlarged into sea caves. Now, sea arch. When a headland projecting in the sea is attacked by the sea waves from both the sides, a thorough passage is created, right? So, we have seen that a sea cave is created due to the continuous dashing of sea waves against the coast. But if you can say the headland is projected and it is dashed by the sea wave from both the sides, then there is a thorough passage created, and this is known as sea arch. You can see in the picture, right? It has created a passage, right? So this is a sea arch. Stocks and sea cliffs. When the roof of the sea arch is further eroded, right? We have seen the sea arch. Now if the roof of the sea arch, which is very thin, right, it is further eroded, it collapses and the pillar of the rocks are left standing in the open water, and these are called stock. You can see it in the figure, right? So when the arch, right, when the roof of the arch is eroded, it collapses, and then we have the two pillars, right? The pillars of rocks which are standing in the open water, and they are known as stocks. Again, a steep vertical wall facing the sea is called sea cliff. You can see in the second figure the wall which is facing the sea and which is dashed by the sea wave continuously. This is called sea cliff, right? So the work of sea waves, we have seen that it creates sea caves. It also creates sea arch, stocks, and sea cliffs. Again, the next one is beaches. The depositional work of sea waves is a slow process. Beaches are formed by deposition of sand, gravel, and pebbles on shore, right? So even beach are formed due to the action, due to the work of sea waves. They are generally formed when the sea is calm and the winds are at low velocity. They are blowing slowly. When the broken rock material are deposited on the sea floor near the coast, the next one is sandbar, right? So when the broken rock material are deposited on the sea floor near the coast, sandbars are formed. You can see in the figure. Sometimes the sea water is enclosed between the coast and the sandbar. It then becomes a partial enclosed lake which is called as lagoon. And the examples of lagoon are the Vembanan and Ashtamuthi lakes on Kerala coast, right, which are lagoons, right? So sandbars and lagoons, when the broken rock materials are deposited on the sea floor near the coast, sandbars are formed, and sometimes the seawater is also enclosed between the coast and the sandbars, and a partial enclosed lake is formed, which is known as lagoon. Okay, so these are the different landforms which are created by the sea waves. Now let us see the work of moving ice. Snowfields and snow line. The snow which falls in high altitudes, and the high altitude accumulates to form snowfields. You can see here in the first picture, right? So these are known as snowfields, and the snowfields are situated above the snow line. In the second line you can see the line, right? This is the snow line, right? Boundary line you can say, and the snowfield are situated above those snow line or that snow line. Glaciers, the river of snow and ice which moves very slowly, is called a glacier, right? So you can say it is a frozen river, right? So river which is of snow and ice, and which, as due to the freezing, right, freezing of the water, the movement is very slow, and hence it is known as glacier. Glacier flow out from the snowfields like any other agent. The work of the glacier is erosion, transportation, and deposition. A glacier can modify, sometimes or totally remove the existing landform and substitute them with new and distinctly different landform, because you can say they are much stronger than a normal river. U-shaped valley. When glacier passes through a valley, rock fragments fall into moving ice from the mountain slopes. Okay, so as we know that glacier is a frozen river, and when it passes slowly through a valley, the rock fragments which are on the way fall into moving ice from the mountain slopes. It also picks up the rock pieces from the valley. This rock rub against the side of the valley, right? And this is a continuous process, right? So the movement of the glacier causes an erosion, or you can say rubbing of rocks, which is carried by the glaciers against the valley floor, and this create a U-shaped valley, right? And U-shaped valley has a flat bottom and almost vertical side. You can see here in the picture, right? So this is how U-shaped valley is formed through the work of moving ice. Now the next type of landform is cirque and Taran. The glacier carves out deep hollow along the slope of the mountain, as you can see here in the picture first, right? Due to the erosional process of the moving ice, the moving glacier, right, it carves deep hollows, right, or you can say deep holes along the slopes of the mountains, which develops an armchair like depression. You can see here it looks like an armchair, right? And it is called cirque. When the glacier's ice melt, the depression is filled up with water and forms a lake. This lake is called Taran. You can see in the second figure, right? So in the first figure we can see the cirque, which are formed due to the movement of the glaciers and due to the rubbing of the rock which is carried with the glaciers against the mountain floor, right? And then it creates a hollow, it creates a hole, and it develops an armchair like depressions, right? And when this ice melt, this water converts into liquid, and it forms a lake, which is called as Taran, as you can see in the second figure. Now when the glaciers start melting, its capacity to carry load is reduced as compared to when it is in frozen form. Thus the rock material are deposited on the sides and the floor of the valley, and this deposition forms a glacial moraines, as you can see here, right? So these are called glacial moraines, which are formed when the glaciers melt, and due to that there you can say carrying capacity is reduced, and they deposit the material, the rock material on the sides and the floors of the valley, right? So this are, you can say, this is the work of moving glaciers. Now let us see the work of wind. Wind is the most effective agent of erosion in desert, right? So the most effective agent of erosion in desert is wind. A strong wind carries with it large amount of sand, dust particles and gravels, and this loose material act as a cool in eroding the rocks, right? So wind plays a very important role in the erosional process in the desert. A strong wind carries a large amount of sand, dust particles, gravels, right? And moreover, the absence of vegetation in the desert, right? You can say, as we have less vegetations in the desert, enables the wind to blow freely. It blows very freely. Now the work of wind is limited to few meters above the ground, right? And due to which different landforms are formed, and we'll be seeing here, right? One of the landform formed due to the work of wind is mushroom rocks. As we have discussed that the work of wind is limited to few meters above the ground, what happens, the wind erodes the lower part of the rock more than the upper part, and such rocks have narrow base and a broad top, right, as you can see in the figure, and such rocks are called mushroom rocks, right? The wind erodes the lower part more as compared to the upper part, and hence the lower part is narrow as compared to the base, or you can say the base is narrow as compared to the top, and hence it looks like a mushroom, hence they are known as mushroom rocks. Next one is Lewis. The depositional work of wind starts when its speed declines or some obstructions like tree, bushes, forest, buildings, etc. come in its way. The fine dust particle deposited extensively is known as loess, right? So as you can see in the figure, it is a porous and river cut deep valley through it. The most extensive loess deposits are in North China, right? So these loess are the result of the deposition work of the wind when its speed declines and or it faces some obstructions like tree, bushes, forest or buildings, etc. And the fine dust particle deposited extensively called are form a loess. Now the next one is sand dunes. The porous particles are deposited in the form of hillocks known as sand dunes. They are formed when there is some obstruction in the path of the wind. Sand dunes vary in height from few meter to as much as 300 meter. The windward slope is gentle while the leeward slope is steep. Sand dunes are generally formed in group, as you can see in the figure. Sand dunes have tendency to migrate slowly in the direction of wind. This can be harmful as a agricultural feed. Human settlements and forests can be buried under sand covers, right? So due to the tendency of sand dune of migrating slowly in the direction of wind, it can be sometimes harmful, right? So due to the work of wind, we have seen different landforms like mushrooms, rocks, loess and sand dunes, right? So this is all for in this chapter. I hope you have understood the topic. Thank you.